Hi, welcome back to smallbusinessbuffalo.com. I'm Pat Jones, and today we are joined by Mr. John Howell. John is the president of an organization called nxtARROW, and nxtARROW is currently, your mission is to bring businesses to Buffalo,
right?
Is that correct?
Bring startups and other businesses that are looking to expand their scope and are wanting to do it here in Buffalo. So.
Okay, right, and so you're providing 1 year for free.
1 year for free of everything other than the cost of doing your core business. So if you make widgets, you gotta, you have to be able to purchase the raw materials to make your widgets,
right,
and the processes to create them and distribute them, but actually even some of the distribution we can help you with. So essentially everything else, which would include the space that you need to work in,
right,
the infrastructure, your legal, your creative, your administrative, your financial, and your fulfillment, which is where the distribution comes in, is all available for free.
Okay.
Obviously, there's more than one kind of free. Some of it's completely free, some of it's deferred bill, so you get it now and you pay for it later, but one way or the other, we make it work. So.
Okay. Do you provide an in-house chef?
To a certain extent. We provide some, mentoring and counseling. We do a little bit of help with social media.
Yeah.
Most of the rest of it, though, is with network corporate partners that we have recruited for our network. So.
Okay. Very cool. And so, why Buffalo? Why should somebody come here?
I'm originally from here, have been gone for years, 30-some years altogether. Left to go to graduate school, never came back other than to visit, and hadn't been visiting a whole lot, actually, up until about maybe 2006 when I started coming back. At that time, I had a financial services practice that was catering to entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And so I started coming back to Buffalo quite a bit because I still had a network in place that I could utilize to build that business. Ended up establishing a national practice, but with two bases, one in Chicago where I was living and one here in Buffalo.
Okay.
And I noticed as I came in and out of Buffalo that there was a tremendous amount of opportunity here that people in town didn't seem to be aware of.
Right.
It was as simple as not having traffic. It was as simple as, the low cost of housing, the low cost of office space, and, just about everything else. I mean, the cost of legal services, even compared to what you'd pay in the major markets, was phenomenal. So I just started thinking, we're going through a real paradigm shift in our economy right now, and we've essentially moved beyond the age of employment. And what I consider the age of employment would be the industrial age and the information age, when people for about 100 years got better and better jobs working in industry, with large employers who provided great benefits and good pay, and then a lot of that went away, but then people just kind of fell into service jobs and information jobs that didn't usually pay nearly as much, but at least it gave people that same sense of being taken care of by a large employer.
Yeah. And
the whole time people were kind of lulled into complacency about that, because essentially you had no control over what you did, what it was worth, when you did it, how you did it, where you did it, and because people had a certain amount of security in doing it, they were willing to accept that, and you kind of had all the whole thing about working for the weekend, and expressions like hump day came up, and thank God it's Friday, and Blue Monday, and all of that stuff. And what I wanted to do was help people realize, that's over, and the bad news is there aren't that many big employers that are going to take care of most of us. Some of us obviously will always have those kinds of jobs. But for the most part, the new way of working is going to be entrepreneurship, and most people are either going to work for an entrepreneur or be one themselves. Mm-hmm. And of course, the good news about that is that you can choose what kind of work you want to do. You can leverage your experience and your expertise and your talents and your interests, and most of all your passion, to make it work for you. You can monetize it. You can find a way to do that. You can put your stuff out on the marketplace and let other people pay you what it's worth to them to do what you do best. But you still make the rules about how you do that. And that's a tremendously liberating thing once you kind of get over the idea that, you know, I've got to create my own safety net.
Yeah.
You know, that I got to eat what I kill.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to kill anything for me. But on the other hand, nobody's going to make me eat something I don't want.
So it's a lot of responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility.
But it's a lot of possibilities.
There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of
Yeah.
potential, a lot of possibilities, exactly.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about all that, and I think, you know, if there was any place in North America that I'm aware of that has the best environment,
Yeah.
potentially, to congregate people who want to start working that way, who want to create businesses, who want to find new models of doing business to meet old needs that are no longer being met in old ways,
Okay.
this is the place to do it.
Yeah. And what are some of these companies for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, I have a lot of ideas about companies that could be created. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
you know, one of the things I want us to do in Buffalo is create new, like I just mentioned, new models of doing old things. I think journalism is one area that needs to be reinvented. Otherwise, there's not going to be a way to, you know, make a living at journalism anymore. I'm actually a fairly active citizen journalist myself. I've been pretty prolific writing articles that I don't get paid for. But just, you know, because I'm a frustrated writer, I'm willing to do it to a certain extent. I've also written some novels that I haven't gotten paid much for because, you know, the old way of selling a novel is just not there anymore. It's easier for a celebrity to write, you know, a quote-unquote novel and get it published than for a serious author to write a really good piece of literature and get it published.
And so,
Snooki's got a novel, for crying out loud. I mean, so that's the whole marketplace right
who's
now.
Snooki?
She's a character from the Jersey Shore, one of the reality
okay.
shows.
All right, all right.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't know who she was. That says quite a bit about you. But, but anyway, so really what I think, you know, because journalism and publishing of all kinds is something that's dear to my heart just because of my background, I did major in it in college, I'd love to see us create some new models for journalism that are profitable and yet are, you know, in tune with the new ways of doing things, obviously. Same thing with healthcare. Healthcare is another passion of mine because I did spend a fair amount of my career working in various aspects in healthcare, and the system needs to be completely reworked.
Yeah.
And the things that most people are talking about in the public debate about how to fix healthcare are not the real issues. And so I'm right now working with two different entrepreneurs who are looking at creating some new models for healthcare.
Right here in Buffalo?
Yeah, here in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And they've actually, one of them lives here, one of them is outside the city, is willing to come into the city and do a company. And so I'm very excited about that because either the two of them will either end up collaborating or they'll end up creating their own different companies that will be reinventing healthcare in some pretty exciting ways. And you know, Buffalo could definitely be the nucleus of that.